At the beginning of the movie, we see Lucius, who is a Roman architect struggling to create something new for a long time, leaving him financially broke. His designs were considered boring and outdated by everyone. One day, a friend took him to a public bathhouse, a place where people often went to relax. However, Lucius wondered what peace he could find among naked men. Frustrated, he dived into the water. Suddenly, he noticed a small whirlpool forming, which pulled him in with a strong current. In a matter of moments, he found himself in a strange place where breathing was difficult. After struggling, he finally surfaced, only to realize he wasn't in his time anymore. Instead, he had somehow landed in a modern 21st century Japanese bathhouse. The sight of naked elderly people shocked him, as he had never seen such flat-faced individuals before. Coming out of his shock, he noticed the advanced world around him, which amazed him. By mistake, Lucius entered the women's changing room, causing chaos. A woman screamed and threw a metal object at him. Here a girl named Mami was present, who is an artist. He starts making a sketch of Lucius. When he woke up, another person handed him a flavored milk bottle. After drinking this, he fainted again. When he woke up, he was back in his own time, surrounded by people who had just pulled him out of the water. They told him he had been underwater for a few minutes. Lucius initially thought his experience was just a dream until he saw the empty milk bottle beside him. Inspired by what he had seen, Lucius designed a modern bathhouse with elements from the 21st century. His innovative ideas made him famous and wealthy. People loved the massage booths and chilled milk at his bathhouse. One day, while bathing, an old man requested Lucius to design a private bathhouse for him. While thinking about the design, Lucius was pulled into another strong water current and again found himself in the 21st century. This time, an old man asked him to help with bathing. Lucius unknowingly introduced modern features like shower heads and water fountains to the household. This house belonged to Mami. Upon seeing Lucius, she quickly ran to her room to grab her sketchbook, but when she returned, she found that he had already left. Back in Rome, he used these ideas to create a magnificent bathhouse for the old man, earning even more money. Now financially secure, he could finally provide a better life for his wife. However, she wasn't fully happy, as her greatest wish was to become a mother. Lucius was always busy with his work, which often led to arguments with his wife. One day, during a heated fight, she stormed off angrily. A few days later, Lucius received a job from the royal. The king of Rome, impressed by Lucius's reputation, ordered him to design a unique personal bathroom. The king demanded it be so extraordinary that it would amaze the world. Lucius accepted the challenge and wandered the city in search of inspiration, but his efforts were in vain. He felt embarrassed, realizing that all his ideas were just poor imitations of the advanced concepts he had seen in the 21st century. Suddenly, he slipped into a drain, and once again, this time, Lucius emerged in a flooded bath store in the 21st century. The manager had left a tap running, causing water to overflow. As Lucius appeared, gasping for air, he startled the staff. The manager ran to call the police. Lucius and Mami tried to talk with each other. Though they didn't understand each other's language, Lucius handed a silver coin to Mami, asking for a tour of the store. Money, of course, spoke a universal language. Lucius was amazed by the shiny toilets, printed toilet paper, and the spray bidet, which he found incredibly refreshing. Inspired, he memorized everything. Back in Rome, Lucius used these ideas to build a luxurious bathroom for the king. It featured a self-filling toilet, a decorative fountain with bubbles created by slaves, scented candles for relaxation, and sparkling golden fixtures. The king was so delighted that he rewarded Lucius with a priceless necklace. When Lucius returned home, he was heartbroken to find his wife with his friend. Meanwhile, in the 21st century, the bath store manager Mami became curious about Lucius's story and started researching Roman history. She discovered that the coin Lucius had given her was 2,000 years old, confirming his connection to the past. Back in Rome, Lucius was struggling after being betrayed by his wife. One day, he was called by the king again. The king believed his deceased son had been reincarnated as a crocodile and wanted Lucius to design a space where the crocodile could live comfortably. This time, the stakes were even higher. If the crocodile died, Lucius would face severe punishment. Lucius pretended to check the water in the king's crocodile bath, and once again found himself transported to the 21st century. This time, he emerged in a zoo, trapped in a cage with a crocodile. Coincidentally, Mami was visiting the zoo on a date with someone she didn't like. As soon as she spotted Lucius, she rushed to his cage and freed him. Mommy explained everything to Lucius, which gives the opportunity to learn about crocodiles and their habitats. Mommy even tested if Lucius was truly from ancient Rome by asking him to shoot arrows. Lucius hit all his targets perfectly, proving his skills. Later, while relaxing in a hot spring, he was suddenly swept away by a strong current and transported back to Rome. In a few months, Lucius completed the perfect habitat for the king's crocodile son. The king was so pleased that he considered Lucius a part of his family. Life in the city was peaceful, but trouble brewed when news arrived of rebels planning to overthrow the king. The conflict led to a year-long war between the king's army and the rebels. The aging king eventually decided to pass the throne to his nephew, Chaonius. As the new king, Chaonius wanted to impress the people by building a grand bathhouse. He ordered Lucius to design it, but Lucius refused because Chaonius was arrogant and exploited the poor. Lucius believed that under Chaonius's rule, the Roman Empire was destroyed. Chaonius threatened to execute him, but Lucius stood firm. Frustrated, Chaonius assigned the task to another architect. This sparked jealousy among others, as Lucius's fame overshadowed their work. One of the rival architects pushed Lucius into a well during an argument. When Lucius opened his eyes, he found himself once again among the Japanese. Injured, they tended to his wounds and took him to a hot spring, explaining that it would help him heal faster. They also offered him a traditional drink to ease his pain. While Lucius was recovering, Mammy arrived. She had been learning Lucius's language to communicate better with him. Before she could say much, a drunken Lucius stumbled and fell into the hot spring with her. When they opened their eyes, they were back in Rome. Mommy was shocked by everything she saw and learned that Lucius was about to be executed for defying Chaonius. She tried to convince Lucius to apologize, but he refused and began packing his belongings, determined to leave Rome. In the 21st century, some elderly people went looking for Mommy near the hot spring. They accidentally fell in and, just like Lucius, got caught in a whirlpool and ended up in ancient Rome. Meanwhile, Lucius, while wandering, discovered a hot spring near a mountain. He remembered how the people in the 21st century healed him using the hot spring and thought it could help the king's soldiers recover from their wounds. Lucius shared his idea with Mammy and then approached the king. He claimed the idea came from Antonius, a rightful heir to the throne and much more capable than Chaonius. Lucius wanted Antonius to win the king's favor over Chaonius. With the king's approval, Lucius, Mammy, and the elders from the 21st century began working together. In just a few hours, they built a small hut near the hot spring. Over time, more houses were built around it, creating a healing center where injured soldiers could rest and recover. The elderly visitors from the future helped heal the soldiers using modern medicine. After a few months, the king's army defeated the rebels, and there was celebration everywhere. During this time, Lucius and Mammy grew closer, realizing they had fallen in love. Lucius felt happier than ever before in his life. However, suddenly, the elderly visitors from the 21st century started disappearing one by one. Even Mammy began fading away. Before disappearing completely, she promised Lucius they would meet again someday. The king, impressed by Antonius's leadership, passed the throne to him and honored Lucius for his bravery, acknowledging that they couldn't have won the war without him. Back in the 21st century, Mammy started a new life. One day, as she was walking down the street, she saw Lucius emerging from the hot spring. The two were reunited once more, fulfilling Lucius's promise to meet her again. The movie ends here. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to give the video a like.